students. So today we're going to be looking at multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. So we've already learned how to multiply fractions. Now we're going to add in a whole number to that. So we'll be multiplying mixed numbers. So by the end of the lesson today, you should be able to find the product of fractions and whole numbers or mixed numbers. Factors in a multiplication expression may be represented as a mixed number, like this, 2 3/4, or as an improper fraction, such as, think in your head real quick, what do you think 2 3/4 would be as an improper fraction? If you said 11/4, you would be correct. Woo! Okay, so here are the steps. First, you write the mixed number as an improper fraction. Then you look for common factors so that you can reduce your work prior to multiplying, and I'll go over that in a second. Then you simplify if possible, and then you multiply your numerators, then multiply the denominators. And then you ask yourself those two very important questions when you're done. Is it improper or can it be reduced? So let's look at those a little bit slower. Step 1 to multiplying mixed numbers. Remember what it is? You need to change those mixed numbers into improper fractions. So I wanted to go over what that would look like. If I had 2 1/3 as a mixed number, we call it a mixed number because there's a whole number with a fraction attached to it. If I want to change that into a improper fraction, meaning the numerator is larger than the denominator, I have to think to myself, well, I want to make this whole number 2 into a fraction that has a denominator of 3, because I have to add it to this 1/3 I already have. So if I was going to visualize this as a picture, I might visualize something like this. There's 2 wholes, and there's, whoops, we want those to be equal. Let's just pretend they are. There's my 1/3, right? So if I want to find out how many thirds are in this one and how many thirds are in this one, I could cut this whole into thirds, correct? And then I would have 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, and they're 7/3 all together. So 2 1/3 is the same as 7/3. And I would think about that to check myself and see if that seems reasonable. Does it seem reasonable that 7/3 is the same as 2 1/3? Well, I know that 6/3 would be equal to 2, right? And I have one more third. So that makes sense that it's 7 1/3. So let's look at one more. What if I have 1 4/5? So my mixed number, it's a whole number with a fraction attached to it, is 1 4/5. Well, remember, I have fifths. I have 4/5 that I have to add to this 1 that's already being represented as a whole number. So I would want to change my whole number to something that's equal to 1 that also has a denominator of 5 so that I can add my 4/5 to it. So what can I make my 1 whole equal to if it has a denominator of 5? Well, if I try 5, I know that 5/5 is the same as 1, correct? So if I have 5/5 represented as my 1 whole, and I also have 4/5, I have to add those 4/5 to my 5/5, and then I would have 9/5 altogether. 9/5. All right, so that is how you convert a mixed number to an improper fraction. Okay. So you can think of it as pictures, or I always think of 1 whole as being, if I have 1 whole, whatever my fraction is that I'm using, whether it be fifths or thirds, I just make it 3/3 is equal to 1 whole, or 5/5 is equal to 1 whole. So if I wanted to double that, if this was going to be 2 wholes, I would just make it 6/3. I could also make 2 wholes equal to 10/5. And if you look at these more closely, you might think to yourself, well, if I multiply my 5/5, if I multiply this by 2, because I want 2 wholes, then I would have 10/5. So hopefully finding a mixed number makes sense to you, let's look at the next step. After we change our mixed numbers to improper fractions, I would do this. Then I use commutative property to reduce before I multiply, and I'm going to tell you about that. Then I multiply, and then I ask myself those two very important questions. Is it improper or can it be reduced? So let's go back to this problem. We already changed 2 1/3. Whoops. I have 2 1/3. I want to change that to an improper fraction. So I know that 2 is equal to 6/3. Plus I have my 1/3 attached here that I need to make sure I include. So then I have 7/3. So this is really going to be equal to 7/3. And then I have 1 4/5. Sorry, let me move these apart. 1 4/5. And I need to change that to an improper fraction. So I think to myself, well, 5/5 is equal to 1. So if 5/5 is equal to 1, and I have 4/5 left here that I need to include, I would add 4/5 to my 5/5, and I have 9/5. Actually, it's important that you don't have equal signs here. So this is represented by 9/5. Now I have 7/3 times 9/5. So I can write this like this: 7 times 9 over 3 times 5. And I want to show you something that I think is kind of cool and also important. So if I solve this problem the way it is, I know that 7 times 9 is 63. And then I have 3 times 5 is 15. So there's my answer, right? 7 times 9 is 63 over 15. Well, now I have to think about, all right, I have to reduce that. Is it improper? Absolutely. So I have to divide my denominator as the divisor into my numerator, which is my dividend. Yeesh, that looks like an ugly problem. I know that 2 15s are 30, so 4 15s would be 60. So I know I could get close to that answer. So 4 15s are 60, and then I'm going to subtract, and I get 3. So that's my numerator, and 15 is my denominator because I need 15 pieces to make a whole. So my final answer is 4 3/15. Then I have to ask myself, is it improper? Nope. Can it be reduced? Yeah, because I know both of these babies. I know both of these can be reduced by 3. And then I would have 4 1/5. All right, so that's my final answer. But let's go back to this real quick because there's a little trick here. So if my problem is 7/3 times 9/5, and I write it like this: 7 times 9. And I'm going to use commutative property to switch these babies because I notice there is a connection or a relationship between 9 and 3. So I want my 3 underneath here. So I'm going to say 5 times 3 is the same as 3 times 5. So all I did was flip-flop these two numbers. Do you see that? But now, if you notice, I have this 9 and 3 on top of one another. Ooh. I know that there are 3 groups of, remember, fractions are always division problems. I know that there are 3 groups of 3 in 9. So if I ask myself, well, if I reduced 9/3, isn't 9/3 the same as 3? And haven't we learned in our lessons that 3 wholes is the same as 3/1? So in my head, I'm going to think to myself, well, I'm going to use my number 3 because that's a common factor for both of these numbers. And I'm going to divide 3 into 3, and also I'm going to divide 9 by 3. So I'm going to ask myself, how many groups of 3 are in 3? And I'm going to do that right here. 3 goes into 3 one time. And now I'm going to do the same thing in here. How many groups of 3 are in 9? That's going to be 3. And notice now my 3/1 is the same as this, which we said 9/3 is 3. Okay. Hope you're following me. We'll do this again. And now I can multiply straight across, but notice my numbers are much smaller now. 7 times 3 is 21, and 5 times 1 is 5. Then I have to ask myself, is it improper? Yes, baby, it is. So I have to divide bottom into top. 5 goes into 21. I know that there are 4 groups of 5 and 20, so I divide. Then I subtract. Now I compare, is 1 less than 5? Yes, so that I'm done, and that is my remainder. But look at my answer. It's the same as it was before, 4 and 1/5. But my numbers that I'm dealing with or working with are so much smaller that it kind of makes the work a lot easier. All right, let's go to our next slide. Oh, there's a very handsome picture of Sal. If you watch this video in Google Classroom, he's going to go over how to change a mixed number into an improper fraction. So let's move on. I wanted to go over one of these. So first, we need to remember convert any mixed numbers to improper fractions. So let's do that first. What would I make 4 and 1/5 equal to if I wanted to make it an improper fraction? So I asked myself, well, if I'm dealing with fifths, what would I need on top to be equal to 4? 4 is the same as how many fifths? Well, I could think about, if I wanted to work with 5s, I would think 4 times 5 is 20, and then I'm going to ask myself, does this sound reasonable? Oops, that's not true. Does this sound reasonable that 4 is the same as 25ths? Well, this is an improper fraction. If I divide it, 5 into 20, that's 4. So yes, that's true. So 4 is equal to 25ths. But I also have, oops, sorry, one more second. 25ths. 4 is equal to 25ths. But I have this 1/5 right here that I have to remember to add to it. So this 4 and 1/5 is really the same as 21/5. And then I'm going to multiply this. Is this an improper fraction? Nope. So all I have to do is leave that the same. Now I want to think about this really quick because this will touch on Friday's lesson. I'm going to ask myself, ooh, sorry about that. This should be half. I'm going to ask myself, now if I multiply something by a half, I'm really dividing it by 2, would you say? If I multiply something by a half, I'm dividing it by 2. So I'm cutting it in half. If I'm going to take half of 4 and then a little bit extra, a fifth extra, if I take half of 4, what would be a reasonable answer of half of 4 and a little bit more? My answer should be somewhat close to 2 and a little bit more, right? So when we get our final answer here, we want to double check to see that our answer is somewhat close to 2 and then a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to write 21 times 1 over 5 times 2. And I'm going to look at these numbers and ask myself, do any of these numbers have a connection? Can 21 be divided by 5 evenly? No. Can 21 be divided by 2 evenly? No. And 1's not going to change anything. So I'm just going to multiply straight across. 21 times 21 times 1 is 21. Now I'm going to use my denominators. 5 times 2 is 10. Then I ask myself, is it improper? Yes, it is. So I have to divide 10 into 21. I want to know how many groups of 10 are in 21. I know there are 2. That's 20. Subtract, I get 1. Now I compare is 1 less than 10. Yes, so I have 1/10 left over. Now I'm going to ask myself, does that seem somewhat reasonable? 2 and 1/10, that's pretty close to 2, wouldn't you say? So I think my answer is reasonable. I think I have time for one more. I actually want you guys to go on, pause the video here, and do those problems. I'm going to go on and solve them myself, and then you can check your work. I'm going to change this to an improper fraction. I know that 1 is the same as 3/3, and I have 1/3 that I have to add to it. So I know that is 4/3, and I'm going to do 4/3 times 2/3. I have to ask myself, I'm taking 2/3, so a fractional part of 1. Is my answer going to be more than 1 or less than 1? It's probably going to be less than 1. So let's do this work and see what we get. 4 times 2 over 3 times 3. I don't see anything that I can reduce before I do my work, so I'm just going to move on. 4 times 2 is 8, and 3 times 3 is 9. and my answer is 8/9. Is that somewhat reasonable? Is that less than